fish are growing. If some of you guys have been on my live stream, I'm making some changes. I've noted them in the live stream, but in order for me to continue on with what I love doing, there's got to be some changes. So let's head to it. So this is actually my molly tank that's downstairs right now. I'm currently in the process of removing this river rock. There's other tanks I'm going to be moving from too as well. I'm just not a fan personally. I'm going to be moving this to sand substrate for the fact of moving cichlids that are getting bigger. So I want them to make sure to have the sand for their substrate. This is my current community tank as we speak. There's a lot more mollies in here now. I never had this many here before. If all goes well and everybody gets along, then I might just leave them in here. So that's the plan here, but so far so good. And then this is the sand that I'm using, and this was something that was suggested by Branton Lightcap. He uses this for his tanks, and it's a lot cheaper because these bags are like $9 for a 50-pound bag. So I paid like less than 30 bucks for all 3 of these bags. And this is what the sand looks like. So if anyone wants to know, it's pretty grainy. I mean, but it's still small enough that cichlids can all dig into it whenever they need to. But yeah, this is the process of removing my river rock. I'm going to put sand in here, and then I'm going to be moving all these OB fry peacocks into that 29, because right now this is a 10 gallon, and as you can see, they're only usually happy unless you're feeding them. So I think they're going to be a lot happier in this 29, to continue to let them grow out a little bit and go from there. And these are the decorations from the 29 molly tank down here. They're just in here temporarily until I get that tank settled back in. And then down here is another breeder tank. This is my hat breeder tank, and up here is my peacock breeder tank. So it's got 1 male and 4 females, and I'm currently going to be giving these 4 females haps, and then 4 peacock females to Happy Place Aquatics gym. We were able to work something out, and we're going to meet here for the first time, so that'll be exciting. And then we're going to be doing a fish swap, and then I'm going to be moving the 2 males, the 1 male peacock and the 1 male hap, into, there he is right now, there's the electric blue lead, but that's an OB variant of it. And then there is a male peacock in here, but like I said, everyone's hiding right now. But that's the male right there. That's going to be going upstairs in my show tank. So that's kind of the process at the moment. So we'll see how it goes. And what I'm doing with these is I'm making these grow out tanks. Because if I don't do this, fish are not going to be happy living in a 10 gallon or a 20 gallon long tank. And I'm also moving these guys out of quarantine to put upstairs in my peacock and hap tank. So that'll free up another tank for other fish that are in my 20 gallon longs. And that's where these guys come into play. These are red shoulder peacocks. Some of them are just slightly coloring up at the moment, but these guys need a bigger home because they're in 20 gallon long, and they're going to be moved into the 40 gallon breeder. And these are also OBs, so I want to move these OB peacocks into one of those breeders as well, so they're going to be a lot happier. Alright, so I got rid of the river rock. I'm doing a water change as we speak. I replaced an air stone with, I guess you'd say a bubbler, with this sponge filter, so that way when I was taking up all the river rock and all the beneficial bacteria that was within it, that sponge filter could kind of suck it up. And that pre-sponge filter is what was on the hang in the back, so I'm doing a water change as well. So I'm just making sure that's still in the tank as well to keep all that beneficial bacteria within that sponge, and there's still some in that filter. So all we gotta do is put this sand into the tank and we should be good. Alright, so I got a couple inches of sand on here. The Tank's a little cloudy at the moment just from putting the sand in, but I'm going to go ahead and top the water off, and then it should clear up since I'm double filtering this tank, so it shouldn't take long. So while I wait for that tank to clear up, I'm going to be moving these guys just temporarily into another 10 that already has some of the sand substrate in it. And then I'm going to get rid of this pink and white rock. This one down below also has that pink and white rock, so I'm going to get rid of that. Going to take care of this river rock, and then I'm going to take care of this river rock as well, so that way all my 10s are going to have sand. And that was the whole purpose of buying the Menard sand, to make everything African cichlid related. Now my whole plan is, if you guys have joined my live stream, eventually I'm going to be getting rid of all these, but for the time being I still have some fry that's going to be growing out. I'm probably going to be adding sand to this one as well if I have enough, but this is probably, well, not probably, definitely going to be my last batch of fry that I've grown out in these tumblers. And these tumblers have been very successful for me. So that's kind of, why I'm still keeping the tent for the time being, but as things grow out, these will eventually go away. And then I'll be left with just a couple of these. So that way I'll have something to put in for a quarantine, or if a fish gets sick or something like that. Because also, once these guys are getting bigger and bigger, they're going to need a tank of their own as well. So this is going to be happening soon. Jim from Happy Place Aquatics, he's going to be giving me some severums. So that's essentially what's going to be put right here and over here for the 10s. So I'm going to be probably getting 2 big tanks that'll be going in these 2 spots. So that way I have a bigger tank for my Central and South Americans, and I have a big tank for my show tank that I'm going to be keeping all the males, peacocks, and hats that I've been growing out, and keep them for myself, and then either donate or do whatever I need to do with the rest of them. So that way I can have a tank in itself of what I've done in this project. So that's kind of special for me. Oh, and also the reason why I'm getting rid of this rock, and especially this bigger river rock, is it's been kind of a pain to feed these guys, especially if you're getting bigger food. Once the fish get bigger, you need to feed them a little bit more. But a lot of the food tends to weave within the rocks, and it just ends up being part of the nitrogen cycle, and the fish don't eat it, but it also kind of gets down there and decays like it's supposed to, and some of the fish don't get to it. And it happens especially like if you have smaller fish, like in here. They don't get a chance to eat the food sometimes if it drops within the big river rock. So it's not really user-friendly for me. So that's why I'm doing that. Alright, so this 29 gallon is all cleared up. I used a little bit of Aquatic Clear Magic to help with clearing everything up to make the debris a little bit bigger. So that way, obviously, the pre-sponge filter and the sponge filter through the airline was able to trap that debris and get this tank all cleared up nice and neat. So it's looking good for these guys so far. They're a lot happier in this 29 as opposed to the 10. And then I cleared this 10 gallon up, and it's looking really nice with the sand. Cleared this 10 gallon up as well. Obviously that sponge filter gathered up quite a bit, but it's looking good. And then I also cleared this one up as well, and the sand looks pretty good. So I'm pretty happy with it. So as of right now, there is no more river rock in any of my 10s. It's all just natural sand for the African cichlids to be able to sift through, and I won't lose any food that falls in between all the river rock and all the other rock, so that way they don't miss it. So it's looking good so far. So now all that's left is moving my 4 females to Jim from Happy Place Aquatics. And then given the females, these are the 4 here that I'm giving away to him as well, and he's going to give me some Zephyrums. So I'm really glad this turned out okay. It's a lot better than getting nothing from my local fish store, at least that Jim could be able to do a fish swap with me, so that way we're both getting something in return. So I think that works out great. And here's a last bit of fry that I had just released from my tumbler. So there's quite a few OBs in here, but hopefully they'll grow and they'll look really colorful and have no issues in the future. But it's really good to see them nice and active and getting used to their new surrounding. So I'm going to feed them and then we'll go from there. Alrighty, here we are with bagging fish with my peacock and haps, and it's going to Jim from Happy Place Aquatics. And I'm using some of this to put in the bags, the Seachem stress guard, so that way on the trip that hopefully they will have a lot less stress and a lot less anxiety going from one place to another. But here we go, let's catch some fish. All right, Jim, I got your 4 peacocks and 4 haps, all female, ready for you and boxed up. Alright, here we go to Ocean Rift. See you in a few, Jim. Hopefully this works out for me and for you as well. But yeah, we'll see you in a few. Hey, what's going on YouTube? This is Jim from Happy Place Aquatics here at the Price Tag Aquariums. We finally got to meet, for the first time, but it was a long time coming, but I'm glad we did. We did our fish swap like you guys have watched in the beginning of this video and throughout, so I'm glad this worked out.
Absolutely.
So he gave me some severums, so I'm going to take those home along with the albino pleco, let them grow for a little bit, and then he's got all my females.
You're going to see babies from them, I promise you.
I hope so, and I hope they make it safely back to your home.
They will.
So, but yeah, appreciate Jim and everyone watching to meet me, and we'll keep going with this video. So, take care. All right, I'm back from Ocean Rift, and Jim got me some severums. So for right now, I'm going to acclimate them, and I'll show you the bag of severums he got me here. And these guys are fairly new. I mean, they're small, but they're gonna grow. But I don't know how well you guys can see, but I'll get you guys a closer look once I get them inside the tank. I am gonna put them in a 10-gallon temporarily. This pleco, he also was very kind to give to me as well. It's an albino. We'll see where I decide to put him, but let's get him acclimated. So here's the severums. I decided to acclimate them in this 40-gallon breeder first, just because of the fact that this bag is fairly large for the 10-gallon. And also there's a lot of water I took out of here, obviously, to transport my females to Jim at Ocean Rift. So I'm acclimating them. The temperature is about a degree or a half degree off, give or take, between this tank and the 10-gallon that these guys are going to go in temporarily. And then once I start moving fish around, then I'll kind of decide where their next permanent home will go. But yeah, we'll go from here. Alright, so this is the tank that I'm going to be putting these severums in. And I'm just going to be doing the drop and pop method. It has worked for me countless times, and so that way none of the ammonia or any type of waste gets dropped into this tank, and it's just the fish only. So here we go. Man, those severums look really neat. Even at this young age, they still definitely have a neat look to them. I really like it. Thanks, Jim. My albino pleco should do okay. He's a pretty good size. He might actually go upstairs in my community tank, but we shall see how he does in here and see if he can grow just a little bit more. But yeah, these severums are really cool looking. But yeah, they should do fine here in this 10-gallon for a little bit. I'm really excited to see these guys grow out, and they'll eventually go in my Central and South American tank. So once they grow into size, they'll be accompanying all these guys with the fire mouse, yo-yos, the geos, the redhead tapajos, electric blue acara. And I think it'll fit very nicely in this tank. And eventually, when these guys start getting bigger, like I said, the plan is to be moving these guys into an even bigger tank. So that way all these will be taken down and given to whoever wants them, and then also the 20 longs eventually in the little bit farther future, those will be taken down. So that way I can have a Central and South American tank right here, and then I will be moving this group out of there as well, and that's where my other big tank will be, which will have all my African cichlids in it that I've grown out since the egg tumblers. So I'll be moving a bunch of these red shoulders because it's starting to get overcrowded and they're growing up. Here's some younger red shoulders as well. It's in 20 long, so I'll probably combine them. And these guys as well. These guys are growing up pretty quick. And then I got some lemon jakes here. They're gonna be going in the other breeder, along with these lemon jakes. And then these OBs, I'm I'm going to probably, more than likely, put him in my 29-gallon tank along with these guys. Now, I know a 29-gallon is probably too small for all these OBs, but I'll eventually have space in my 55 whenever I'll show the fish that come out of quarantine that are right here. So once these guys are done out of quarantine, then I'll be putting the OBs in this one. And these two tanks where I had the previous peacock and hat females will be opened up. The two males between the one of each tank will be going upstairs along with my quarantine tank, and that'll free up space for more grow out opportunities. So best of luck to me in the future. Alright, so I think I'm going to stop this video for now. I'm probably going to do a couple part series into this. It actually might be a multi-series, depending on what tanks I get moved and what other tanks I decide to buy. But it's going to be a changing fish room for sure. You know, as fish get bigger, I need to put them in bigger tanks and move fish around. So no more fry operation. So I don't have any more room to do that. But it's been a phenomenal experience of putting them in tumblers, extracting the eggs from the females, taking them from their mouth and putting them in their own tank, letting it happen naturally. It's been a fun experience. So, but it's time to move on to the next big adventure. So this is step one in the process. So thanks again for watching. You guys take care. Be happy, be healthy, and stay safe.